Hello and welcome back. Right, we have our second fertiliser state to sort before we run out of time. I've got narrows on, I put them on in the last session when we were busy doing... Oh, I've got to get rid of the rolling. I missed that boat. Yeah, it is. At least it's settled down now. We can see that it's only the first stage. Right, let's set this going then. Let's try not to miss anything as well. Let's try to get this right. Would be nice to get maximum yield. What I'm hoping to achieve this time, it's not going to be a massive... Most of my sessions are built up through multiple sessions due to the nature of how big the field is and how small our equipment is. To be honest, the tractor, horsepower, equipment size, and a bit like last session, we've been moving straw now for 2 sessions because we didn't have a multi-fruit silo, and I'm well chuffed with how cheap the No Man's Land silo was. So that's not in any way a critique. I could have bought another one, but it would have meant we were spending 30,000, which, although that is very, very reasonable, at this present moment in time would absolutely cripple us. We are literally having to count our pennies and be very, very cautious on every move we make, because if we make one bad, disastrous move, there is no contracts to dig me out. It is literally, we then give ourselves an even harder task of trying to get back from a precarious position. So yeah, we've got to be careful. The equipment that we've got is the equipment that we've got, and I'm not going to say stuck with it, because that's not... We really do need a second tractor, but as I said a couple of sessions ago, also we need, more importantly, I think, to go for the carpentry production. It fits so well with this map, so that will limit any tractors we would have to take a loan at if we see one. The other thing is, there's nowhere I could afford a new powerful tractor. It would have to be a special offer, and as we know, there's been multiple times in this Let's Play that we've had tractors, but they've all been, apart from, I actually was looking back at editing earlier, and I thought I did actually get one opportunity right back at the beginning to have a Deutz-Fahr of the Warrior, I think it was, which was good. It was 120,000, which was a cracking price, but it was early on, and I don't know that, again, it would have limited our long range things. So I still don't regret my decision to actually do that, even though now I'm sort of kicking myself, because it could have made things easier on us if we'd have gone that route. But I still think it was the right decision. I think it's more important that we struggle on, that we have equipment, than it is that we have fantastic equipment but can't do anything with it, because our funds are so limited that we can't buy bigger equipment for use with the tractor. We've only got little equipment. We can't replace everything all in one go. We really can't. So let me put time up to... I'm going to go to 1 time, being as we're on 1-day seasons. Oh, actually, no, let's go to 3. Oh, I've gone well big an overlap. Right. I did much better with the what we earned from the straw than I actually anticipated. It did pay for the front loader and the everything, including the belt, and we've still got 13,000 on top of that profit. So not only did we do all that we did, but we also gained profit as well. So it really was, definitely in my eyes, an absolute success. I don't regret doing it, even though it was it really was I've got to look for my wheel tracks. Let's have a look. Yeah. Now then, if we do this about here, let's have a look. Yeah, that's not bad. yes, I think it was a good decision, and I still, even though I'm sort of as you do, second guessing yourself and thinking, oh, I should have got that tractor. I seriously don't think I should have done. I still stick to the fact that it was the right decision to make, even though it means that things are tough. They are. There's no denying that. But we've got equipment. That's the main thing. You can always yearn after the big stuff, but there is a time in any Let's Play, and it is all about timing and decisions. You make one wrong move, especially in this, what I class as the ultimate start from scratch map. There is nowhere to hide. Your mistakes will haunt you on this map, because I mean, I have watched an awful lot of, I think, Daggerwin's Survivor roleplay, and there was some, well, obviously everyone makes mistakes. I've made mistakes, but yeah, there was some cracking mistakes that, right, let's just try and finish this off. I want this to be its absolute optimum. I don't want any patches missing at all. Stop doing that. Oh dear. Right. Oh, that's a little tiny bit of a strip here. Yeah, a little bit of a strip just here. It's amazing how once you have actually got things on your field, though, how hard it is to see those patches in comparison to, yeah, I just saw it then. Ooh, missed a tiny bit of a corner there. Wow, still missed a bit. Wasn't quite close enough. No. No way. How on earth did I miss that? Okay, little patch on the right. It's not quite there yet. That's a little bit too previous. That's the trouble with these big fields. Yeah, a little tiny bit to the right of me. About here, I would say. Yeah, and another patch just there. A patch over here somewhere. Yeah. There is a couple over here. And that is us done. Fantastic. That will do me nicely. Excellent. Let's just fill this up, but we will eject it. It just, while you've got money, I always think it's useful to actually get a bit of it. I have not got enough money to stockpile, but certainly enough to put this ready for next time we use this. That is definitely useful. I don't want to eject it too close. Hello and welcome back. It is the time of the harvest again, and this is our second harvest. So yes, this is our, yeah, it is our second year thinking about it. Although it's been we've done lots of speeding up time, because obviously there's certain bits where we can't do anything. Did make a bit of a mistake on the productions. I should have left the wood trundling along over. Now that, do I need to? Right, I'm going to literally, yeah, I'll just quickly say this very briefly. did make a bit of a mistake on the production. So one thing I've never used the carpentry, so I presumed it would be like sugar, and it's different. So the amount that it actually processes every day is far less than say sugar would do an awful lot. I think it's 10 tons, 20 tons produces 10 tons, and I have 3 lots going. That's 1 lot being done, and it produces very little over a full month. So because that is that way, what I should have done, had I have known this, was actually put wood in every month, so that by July we'd got quite a few bits, because we've only got literally two bits of furniture. Let me just remind myself, have I got that on selling? Yeah, we want to put that on selling, because this is the most that we're going to do, so we may as well get that. But yeah, that was definitely a mistake, one that we'll have that trundling along. We'll keep feeding it with wood, because it's a very slow process. So we have made £4,000 off of it, which 2 sets of furniture, so it was not a bad, but obviously definitely not all my life. We definitely need to get a power washer. Anyway, without any further ado, just wanted to quickly explain that we will keep that trundling now from this point unfed. So we're going to do some wood cutting in between, but for now we are concentrating on the harvest. So I'm going to say my usual words. I am going to see you guys and gals on the other side. I swear every time there's an update or a secret update, somebody mucks around with the volume. My volume is so loud. I have a confession, which is fairly obvious to anybody watching who's got half a brain in their head. I absolutely abhor people who are not genuine. I've always said this. I like to be transparent, so I am being transparent. Anybody who's been watching the harvest will have noticed that, well, two things you'll have noticed. One, that my money went up by 60,000 halfway through the going around the fields, and two, that the carpentry mod that was straight ahead disappeared. The two are linked, and I'm not going to treat anybody's, for the sake of my conscience and everybody who's watching's conscience, and also transparency. Otherwise, how can I go on about transparency? When I first started FS19, I used to be, one of my favourite things was forestry. I absolutely decimated on Sudbury Meadows, the first of all the small map next to the main Sudbury Meadows thing. I would often sell the Sudbury Meadows farm and actually buy the smaller of the two forestry maps, and then later on in the game I would decimate the massive field that was about 1 million. So I was no stranger to forestry. It was probably my number one favourite thing in Farming Simulator. But because of my beliefs and my love of, I can't hide it. You can't be half genuine. You've either got to admit to something or not. I don't think I've ever said this on any Let's Play. I don't do forestry. I haven't done it since the very early days. That doesn't mean to say I won't chop a tree down in a that's in my way, but I don't do forestry maps. I won't. And No Man's Land is such a lot of forestry that I think I got caught up in the FS22 fervour and the fervour of the game, in so much as I forgot my inner promise to, due to my beliefs. Yeah, I've got to spit the whole thing out. It's not fair not to be genuine or, oh wow, we're in the yellow. I believe in God, and he's always felt very strongly about chopping down trees. In the original stories in the Bible, he used to warn the Israelites not to decimate forests and trees and things like that. And because at some point in my Farming Simulator career I remembered this, my conscience tinged, and I made an inner vow, you could say, literally promised that I wouldn't do forestry. I know it's only a game for those who would like go, what was he on about? It's a game. It is, but it's a simulator. I'm simulating what I would do if this was me on this. So because of that, because of my belief, and because it would offend God, I don't do forestry. Whether that in this modern time marks me as odd in most people's eyes, I've got to keep integrity and a good conscience. So for me to do that, what I did was, without conversing, without my normal thing of telling everyone, as conscience often does, dictates that you fix whatever you did wrong. I ripped the carpentry mod with all of the wood that I'd put in there over a couple of episodes. So I took the loss of quite a bit of wood cutting and thought, I can't carry on like this. I can't do this. I can't be not true to God, not true to myself, and I certainly can't be true to those who watch either and just pretend like this didn't happen, that I've ripped it up, or when it's obvious that you have. And not just that, even if I did, it's not the person who I am. I've always said this, there's a lot of YouTubers who are just fresh and up and coming who are wanting, and it's always been that way, everybody wants subscribers, truthfully, but I don't want subscribers at the cost of myself, of who I am and what makes me me. I don't want to, I've said it on this, I don't want to put any mod, and it was the same in Lone Oak. Lone Oak is a perfect forestry. I could have made an absolute killing, but because of the promise I made, that inner vow you could say, I only did what was necessary. I cut a path through the forest to make it easier to get to our farm, and there was a couple of islands of trees that were in the way that joined to think, now I'll do that. That's not forestry, although you could argue, well, it is. Yes, it is, but it had a purpose. It was to make my fields better. If there are a few fields or a few trees at the edge of a field, yes, I don't mind correcting that, I really don't, but I don't do forestry on a grand scale. And I thought, you've put the carpentry mod down, which is meaning you're going to have to chew up trees left, right and centre all the way through this Let's Play. And it was at that point that my conscience tinged. I'd been doing the carpentry mod, and I thought, what about your promise? What about that, the inner vow that you made not to do this, which you've gone against it. So of course I corrected it, but also I don't want to be treating the people looking on as idiots, or me not being genuine and not being transparent about why and what and the reason behind my actions. But also, obviously, I've taken the loss of the trees, which was effort, because I didn't want to continue with that. So I have what I've done is, obviously you get half of the cost back, but I give myself the other half. Now I think that's fair, because this is me, the real me in the real world, making a nice one. This is me ripping my field to pieces because I'm not paying attention. Yes, this is me staying true to me, basically, and also staying true to those people who are watching on by being honest about why my money's gone up and why the carpentry mod has suddenly disappeared when it was over there. But I'm not going to treat you as idiots and not come clean on why that is, because I think that's important. I'm not somebody who wishes to. I want to build up a subscriber base that has got values, and that I love start from scratch. I love the game as well. I love Farm Simulator, and I'm coming to grow to love FS22 now. It's shaping up nicely. There have been moments that I've almost thought, do I really want to do this anymore? I mean, I've only just started, but do I really want to play this anymore? But I also knew, watching FS19, watching Daggerwin and my favourite content creator, Mr. Sealy P, watching them in the beginning of FS19, I knew there were going to be bugs in FS22, of course I did, so I expected that type of thing. But this is something else, and I don't want to be disingenuous, and I don't want to be not owning up to what's happened, why the money's gone up, why the carpentry mod has just disappeared. Now I think I'm being fair. Obviously I'm staying true to me, the real me in the real world, and giving myself a chance. No, I don't mind. I can. What I've decided was, which is an idea I did have a while back, is I'm going to go into the oil factory, and that was one of the reasons, even though I never mentioned it, why I first stuck canola down because it's one of the canola oil things. So I'm going to put a production down. I think productions are important, especially on hard economy, for you to make money. Now I could still afford that, just even, I think it's 90,000. I had 60 something thousand. I got 30,000 back, half of the production cost anyway, which meant I would have had 90 odd thousand. So I would have been able to do it anyway, but I've been true to myself because I've thought I would have carried on as I did, but I didn't make a mistake with the carpentry mod in a way. Oh, look at the damage I did with the carpentry mod in a way, but I did in breaking that promise to God and to myself that I wouldn't do that. So that was very, very important to me. So I've obviously fixed it. So if anyone does seriously, I don't get many comments, but I don't want to be treating any of those people that view, both now and in the future, with any disrespect. So if anyone does feel strongly about it, whether I should still take the 30,000 loss because I ripped the production up, I will do that. I think the loss of the trees and all the rest of it, and I think hard economy itself is already difficult enough. And this is me as a human being, not as a farmer making a mistake. I would have carried on with the carpentry had it been not that I was breaking a promise to a friend. So that is how I view God as well. Whether that sounds odd to people who have no such belief, he is a real being to me and has been for many years. So therefore, just as I would upset a friend, that is exactly how I feel about my actions with the carpentry mod and what it meant to me in the real world. So yes, that's me fessing up on what has happened and what I've done about it. But I don't want to be not being honest or transparent to those who are looking on, who can see what has happened. And I'm glad in a way that there was evidence to prove it, because I wouldn't wish to be a content creator that was less than honest, because that's not me either. I hate that. It's all this sensationalism of people trying to grab subscribers, of like going, oh yeah, I'm playing No Man's Land, I'm starting with just a vehicle and a chainsaw. I mean, I've done it myself, not to grab subscribers, but I did it on No Man's Land, not for that, because I hate the sensationalism. I know why people do it. We all want subscribers, of course we do, but I want to do it because people want to watch my videos, and I'm quite prepared that it's going to take a long time. I've got six subscribers, which might seem very funny to me, but I take that seriously. I had 6 more subscribers than I had 6 months ago. It's 3 more subscribers than I had 1 month ago. It's, to me, I'm chuffed that I've got any subscribers, and I value their subscription, and I want to be honest to both those and future subscribers, and to myself. So it's important to me as a human being and as a content creator to be transparent and just to say what has happened. And as a human being I did that, not as a mistake as a farmer, because it wasn't a mistake. It was something we could have made a lot of money, which we proved. Well, actually there's no video evidence, because I tore in a way, in not a rage, because that's not right. I think to begin with I acted swiftly on removing everything, but I also removed the video evidence because I thought that's ridiculous, because I'm showing people something that no longer exists. But I don't know whether to begin with I was trying to cover it up. That's, again, that wouldn't have lasted long, because my conscience would have kicked in and pointed out to me that, well, I can't do that to people, it's not right. So that's why I'm fessing up, and why the money is what it is, because I'm going to place the oil factory instead of the carpentry one, because of my beliefs and because of like the promise I made. So that's just me being honest, the real world and the real me intruding on the farming simulator and content creator, which is one and the same person when all's said and done. I do try to. It's another reason, I suppose, why even in the game I like to finish my contracts, because it's. I was always brought up to believe that if you put your name to something, if you say you're going to do something, then do it, and do it properly. It may only be a game, but me not completing a contract is like me not being honest to those people that I've agreed, whether it's a game or not. It's immaterial. It's still a promise. You are who you are. So yes, that's it really. The real you does intrude on the farming simulator you, or should do, if you are a person of integrity. You can't have integrity partially. You either have integrity or you don't, and integrity is one of those, in the modern world today, it's a very, very rare commodity. Someone who keeps their word. That's who I try to be. I won't say it is. I make mistakes, I'm a human being, so I cannot truthfully say I always keep integrity, because I'd be a liar to even say that, but I do try to. That is the person I endeavour to be, who I wish to be. So yes, that's me explaining why I have done something, and also admitting to it, so that people don't think, I'm sure I saw a building over there, and wasn't his money on 60 odd thousand? Because yes, it was. You are totally correct on both counts. But also, it's not right for me to just pretend nothing happened. So that's me being honest. I'll tell you how far it had gone. I was even going to actually tear the entire series off, and I've got to be honest, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I love No Man's Land, and I thought, really, are you going to honestly tear the entire series to pieces? I'd even started another No Man's Land. I felt so strongly about it, and I thought, no, just be honest. Just be, the person that you want to be, and just tell your subscribers, your viewers, what happened, why you've made the choice that you've made. Just be honest. If you lose subscribers, which I hope I really don't, but if you do, then you've still kept your integrity and remain true to yourself, and that's equally, probably more important. It's no good losing yourself, is it, in a game? It really isn't. Oh wow, that was close. Nearly did it again. Nearly, if I'd have gone on any further, I would have ripped the field to pieces. And that, I believe, is us done. So that is me owning up to those things, why the truck is over there, because that was right in front of the, and also why I've left the, yeah, I have. I've still bought the implements. I did sell back the log trailer that I bought to do the logging, because obviously I was going to do that as the proper path, so I've sold all implements to do with that. I mean, I even bought the log fork at the beginning because I knew I was going to do that, but again, I sort of got caught up, I think, if I'm honest, in No Man's Land, in the map, and I think I'm always saying that you should work to the map. Well, of course, this map favours wood. It started off as a chip-in thing. Yeah, it has and it does, but that doesn't mean to say you have to do that thing just because the map's made that way. Every map still favours you can be a farmer, so that's what I am being, just a farmer that isn't going to decimate forests. I will chop a tree if it's in the middle of my field, but that's as far as I'm going to go. So anyway, I'm not going to waffle on about it because I'm very good at waffling. Let's just though have a look at I was on the right one. I always do that on this screen. I forget how long it is. Right, I'm just seeing how much. Oh wow, 60,532. That's even more than oats. That's amazing. Right, first order of business: repair the harvester. So, what are we going to do? We've enabled stones now. We have the stone factory, so the next thing will be us ploughing this field up. Now, we are still in that position where, unfortunately, we haven't got a big tractor. There's not one available that's big enough, and that tractor is not big enough to pull the 6 metre plough. Do you know, I haven't tried, have I, though, physically? But I don't think it will. I think if it does, it's so far out on the horsepower requirements for that 6 metre. Although I am going to be honest, there was one time, and I ran it on the case, and it was not it was a case. Was it the Magnum that was well underpowered, and it actually did run it. It just struggled a bit. So let's top up fuel. And we'll go and repair. So what I shall be doing is all of that 60 odd tonnes is going to go straight into an oil production, which is going to leave us in a bit of a quandary, because obviously I would have sold that in November, but now I won't. But of course we will also have a production that is churning out oil. Right. Whoa. I love the way that this massive thing here is cheaper to repair than the little tractor. Right, let's go and park that up outside in its usual spot. Yes, so that is the harvest done, and that is my explanation. I will not, next session I'm going to literally call it there, but I didn't want to be dishonest. I wanted to be honest and come clean about, because I'd sooner crack on with this than just pretend it didn't happen and tear this to pieces, because I've got to be honest, I am thoroughly enjoying this Let's Play. I really do love No Man's Land, and I've really got into... It was a little bit like this on Lone Oak, if I'm honest. I had played the Lone Oak map quite a few times, and don't get me wrong, I've played this an awful lot. No Man's Land is definitely one of my absolute... to be honest, Alien Jim is one of my favourite map makers, and that's not just saying anything, or it is. I mean, not always the... I loved Washout. It's not one of those that a lot of people often think. A lot of people... There's a lot of the English maps that I know Mr. Sealy P tends to favour and mention a lot, which I do like. There's not, I don't think I've ever gone on any one of Alien Jim's maps. I had difficulty with one of his maps, which I had to come off, but that doesn't mean to say I didn't like it. I thought the map was excellent. Right, I'm just going to try this. To see if this actually can manage this. Is this the 6 metre? Oh, it's the 6, isn't it? Can it actually work? Can you do it? Wow. Wow, absolutely you can. Okay. Well, that solves that little problem then. Right. Okay. Well, whether it on paper it shouldn't be able to do it, it certainly can. So we have a 6 metre plough, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hire the Scorpio. Oh wow, yeah. The one thing I didn't realise as well, in one of my Elm Creek Let's Play, not one that it's one that I do for myself, not one that I actually record. I went dodging these, grabbing stone, and then I heard some of the content creators say, yeah, it doesn't show you all of the stone, it's there, but it just still picks it up. And I was like, oh my life, because I was literally grabbing the stone and like doing this along the field, just going for the stone, in and out, weaving and bobbing and just getting the stone. And I thought, oh, you Wally, you've got to go up and down and collect them properly. So yes, well, that's good news. That will actually cope with that. Is that the 6, or have I made it into the 9? No, that's a 6, isn't it? I don't think it would cope with the 9. It needs 320 horses, and I don't seriously think it could cope with that. But I do like to test it. Let's have a look. I know it's gonna. This is just a test, because in time, if we do, when we get a bigger tractor, then okay. Let's Drop that on the floor. And let's have another go. Right, let's customise. Yeah, if this moves, it won't be very fast. That you can guarantee. But I'm up for a laugh. Ooh. Well, I could cope with that speed if it meant I was doing 9 meters instead of 6. Ooh. Ooh. Well, yeah. I think even if it meant me going from, because this is going downhill slightly, even if it meant me running up to the top of the hill and only going downhill, or me going crossways, I could cope with that. Definitely. Wow. Well, Staver, I am well impressed, just as impressed as I am with Rolly Christie for making such an absolutely excellent mod. It was good, always fantastic when it was 6 meters, but now it's a 9 meter beast. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm forgetting my realism. Lift your plough. So, right, I'm not doing the whole field. This was just for proof of concept to see if we could actually do that, and it struggles to start, but once it's got up to speed, I can cope with that. If it means we're going to get this done in 2 and a bit times faster than we would have done with our 4 meter subsoiler, yeah, it slows down. Oh. Yeah, it fits and starts. I can cope with that. Definitely cope with that. Wow, this is one of the massive jobs that I actually really do. Yeah, the 4 meter instead of, I mean, this is going to make things so much. That's amazing. Wow. So yes, right, we'll hire the Elho after this, and I am not looking forward to that job. We should run over that and finally put that to good use and stick the stone into that. I'm going to put it in a trailer though, because you can actually dump the stone into a trailer, so when we do this properly, the picking up the stones, we will definitely drop that into a trailer and then run the trailer over to finally make that lime thing earn us some money instead of taking money as it has been for the last few months. So yes, that's plans for the future. Plenty of work to be done here, and I'm loving where the direction is going, if I'm honest, and I'm loving the fact I'm not using workers, loving that we're doing this all ourselves. I think I've said it a few times, I'm not a massive, people are always on about seedbed preparation, and obviously I had the subsoiler that did make this into a but I can't forget the fact that when farming was first, it was done with a horse and a cart and ploughed lines, and people used to cast seeds by hand into those furrows. So although we are spoilt by having these beasts that we call tractors, the bottom line is it's a bit like any art. People start to get finicky and fussy, and then people start to have camps of people who say, oh, you can't do it like that, you've got to do it like this. And before long, everyone does everything in a certain way, and nobody questions why. But when you look back in time, truthfully, originally farmers used to plough and they used to seed. There was no seedbed preparation. That was it. So just as the game observes that, the reality of this, so do I. I'm not one of these people who gets all bent out of shape because I've got to cultivate after ploughing. As far as I'm concerned, I've done what farmers have done for thousands of years before tractors were made. We've ploughed, and we will seed afterwards, so I'm not going to get bent out of shape or with the political correctness of those who, because the game mechanics allow it, because truthfully it is you can do it. It is something that's been done. It can still be done. I'm not saying it isn't a better practice to cultivate, but it certainly isn't necessary, as has been proven throughout the history of farming, well before a tractor was ever even thought of. So yes, that's me. Weeds growing needs rolling. Right. Anyway, so next time we covered quite some distance on that, didn't we, to be honest, that test. So yes, we shall get this ploughed up next time. We shall literally tear it to pieces, then we shall get the stone up, and let me think about this. I think it is next month we need to replant, don't we? Yes, we do. But we have got 2 months in case this takes a bit longer, but I can't see that it will. We will put time up to ×3. I keep forgetting and keep leaving it on ×1, but this was more yeah, actually I did. I harvested at speed 1 as well. I must get into the habit of getting up to 3. We've got plenty of time at ×3 to get a job done. And as I say, with this, it doesn't matter if it took us up to the end of the day to get the ploughing done. We've still got tomorrow to do the rest. Yeah, it doesn't need liming. So anyway, I'm waffling and I'm going round in circles. I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're going to continue on this journey with me. Now there is going to be a journey, and I'm not spitting my dummy out, as the saying goes, or any of the other multitude of sayings that are similar. We're going to crack on and carry on this Let's Play, but we're just going to change direction. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.